Once again, we are blessed and honored on a Tuesday to talk baseball with Brad Adam of Root Sports. It's brought to you by John Howie Steak. Brad's best friend, by the way. Entertain your next clients, family, friends at John Howie Steak, and have the best dining experience that Brad has always had every time he goes there.
Yeah.
Visit johnhowiesteak.com. You can follow Brad on X. He loves doing a Q&A. Normally does a Q&A twice a day, 1 to 3. And then normally when he gets off the set from Root around 10 o'clock, 10 to midnight on his way home, does a Q&A on X. So follow him there at Real Brad Adam. You can follow me at Puck 2040 there on X. We're inside the Limback Lumber Studios, the Puck Sports Studios built by Limback Lumber. Brad, let me ask you a question first. How are you? You look great as always.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Now, before my oldest goes back to college, I do think we're going to have to make a trip either to John Howie or Seastar.
Yes.
Another chance for me and John to connect.
I do believe
I'm
so.
hoping.
The meal to say goodbye to the oldest that will be entering her sophomore year,
Correct,
at the University of Arizona, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm excited for that. And the chats I like to do on X don't have to do anything with baseball, Puck. You know, it's baseball in life, right?
Yeah, well, okay. So I want to ask you.
So here we are.
As a baseball in life question on the Brad Adam daily Q&As that you like to do on X. And again, they're 2 hours long. I mean, it's aggressive. I don't know why you want to subject yourself to 2 hours of
Ask multiple questions. Don't just ask one. Multiple. And sometimes I have Kruger sit in there with me sometimes too. So we both
Kruger
do a lot of social media. Yeah, he loves
social media.
Hey, what would his Twitter or X name be, do you think? If he had
he's on
account?
He's on it.
He is, isn't he? You're right.
He's on it, but he never
Bill
uses it. It's just Bill Kruger 44, but he never does anything.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
44.
With a picture of that picture of Clint Eastwood and what is it, Gran Torino?
Gran Torino, yeah.
Yeah, just a picture of that. Yeah, where he's just mad at the world. No one pitches 8 innings, 9 innings anymore. Next week, I didn't ask him yesterday, but next week I'm going to ask him about, hey, what'd you think of Blake Snell's comments where he told everyone to shut up now that he's pitched a complete game?
7 innings.
I love
8 innings.
I love Blake Snell to death. But can we stop doing a victory lap because you finally pitched a complete game? Yeah, you know, I didn't realize until Duquette told me this yesterday. That not only was it the first time he's gone into the 9th, that's the first time he's ever gone to the 8th inning.
8th inning. Isn't that amazing? The guy's won two Cy
Young Awards and has never pitched into the 8th.
Wow. Right? What? Wow.
Mind-blowing to me.
One complete game. He has more Cy Youngs than complete games.
That's
the only one in history. I mean, I'll go out on a limb and say that right now.
Has to be.
Wow.
That has to be. Come on.
Good for him.
Yeah,
wow.
Good for him. Okay, so here's my first Q&A question before we get into the Mariners. We'll talk about all the things. We'll get the trade deadline. We'll talk Mitch Garver. We're going to talk Victor Robles extension. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Q&A. How many – we have 2 daughters that are driving, right? Well, obviously one because she's in college. And then the second one has just started to drive?
She has been driving. She's 16, so she's been driving – year-ish almost.
Okay. So it's been, all right.
Yeah, 10 months, 11.
So I got the 15-year-old. She's doing the driver's ed permit, and she's
like my 15-year-old. Yes.
Okay, so you have so your last one is okay. So
15.
Your third one is just starting.
Yep. Well,
okay.
She went through the program. Okay. Yesterday was her driving test,
and
she passed.
So now you've got them all. They're all driving.
Technically, yes.
How nerve-wracking is it the first time? This is my question, my Q&A Brad Adam question that he does on X. My question is, does it get easier? Because the second I know, she can't drive until May, but like the first time she goes out on her own, this guy, because I'm a worrywart, I won't be able to breathe.
Right. Yeah, they don't go out on their own for quite some time. you're probably like me. So you're either with them or your wife's with them, because the first 6 months, technically, they're not allowed to drive anybody in the car except family. And
technically,
we kind of stuck to that. But
did you?
We did. You know,
right.
It's kind of like with the kids. Like the first one, everything is new.
Yeah.
And you're going through it, and you're just like, oh my gosh, worry. The second one, you're like, we've done this. She did that. You're gonna be fine. But third one's like, hey, you're fine.
13, get a car.
Get a car. Yeah. If you parallel, if you nudge the car a little bit here and there, so what? You're gonna be fine. I think, you start in the parking lot, but even with the third one, Puck, you get in the wheel when the daughter gets behind the wheel for the very first time, right, and has control. It's a little frightening, right?
I've done it. I mean, I've taken her driving before she even started the driver's ed. I've taken her. So, I mean, I've seen it. Now she's starting to drive in our neighborhood a little bit when she goes places when we're in the car. It makes it more nerve-wracking in Seattle. I mean, it's nerve-wracking anywhere. But, you're driving through the city. It's a little crazier. You're driving through the neighborhood where everyone parks on the street. You can't get by anyone.
Right.
So it's
not easy there, and you try to be supportive, and you try not to freak out, right? You don't try to brake lights,
hit the brake, turn your signal on,
stop in front of you.
Brake,
car stopped. That car stopped. What are you doing? But they know, like, what do you do with the yellow light, honey? She's like, speed up. Like, that's my girl.
That's right.
That's exactly
what happens when it turns red. I don't know. Just keep it
going.
Hopefully the camera doesn't catch you. That's what I don't like. I don't like this camera thing anymore. I mean,
I don't either.
Let me run a red light.
Exactly. And then how do you refute that? Kind of like the gymnast last night, an inquiry. I didn't win. I want an inquiry. If I get a red light ticket, I want an inquiry.
So
did I really run that?
I didn't read too much into it other than I just saw it. So did Jordan Childs, she just said that, hey, you didn't give us enough credit for how difficult it was?
I guess.
And then they changed it.
Completing the moves or rotating completely. Yeah. I felt bad for the Romanian, right? I've got it. And then like, what?
Well, shout out Jordan Childs. Good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah, that was cool. But little bomb for Simone. I mean, the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Goes out with a silver. You're like, on her best exercise. She's the best ever in the history to do that.
Maybe she'll come back for L.A. She hasn't ruled out L.A.
Yeah, that's true. I like
31 years of age coming back to do it. So back to the Brad Adam Q&A.
She passed. We got one car, Puck. I don't even get involved.
Three or for two of them?
For all three. Well, while Hallie's home for college. So we kind of rotate and we try to figure it out. Man. But the third one's not really, she's not 16 yet. She just passed her test, but she's not 16 till September. So she really, has no say in the car itself. But it's different.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's different too because when we were doing driver's ed, we did it like through school. Right?
Yes.
But now they've got these driving schools that they do, and they're not really. I don't know. It doesn't seem to teach them as much as we did. But
that's why I take her out.
Have you done freeway yet?
No.
Yeah, that's a whole new world.
Well, the reason we need it is because when she does gymnastics, she has to drive over to your neck of the woods.
Yep.
And so I would prefer not to drive anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And then, freeway, it's like, it's given me a whole new understanding and more empathy for slow drivers. Before I would be like, let's go. But now, because my girls are parked in that right lane, maybe going 60, just
10 and 2.
10 and 2 and just, don't want to merge. I'm going to stay in this lane for as long as I can. So
the highlight is when I'm going to show her how to drive the van because it's a manual. It's a stick. I can't wait for that. Oh yeah.
My oldest learned a stick. The other two haven't.
Yeah, she's gonna grind that clutch into the ground.
Is.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
What makes you more nervous? Your daughter's driving for the first time, or I was trying to think of the Mariners. What was Mitch Garver hitting?
Mitch Garver coming up.
I don't know. Yeah.
Probably the daughters. Probably the daughters.
Probably the daughters.
Yeah. Where like, hey, don't you feel bad for these guys? And I'm like, I feel for their struggles they're going through, but do I feel sorry for somebody making $12 million? No.
All right, so that's good. So he's taken some, it's interesting. He's taken some criticism for voicing his concerns about people. Some people saying, "Hey, man, you're making a lot of money. You should put it in perspective. But when it crosses the line to the death threats and the things that people are saying online, I mean, how do you balance that if you're Scott Service and the organization with Mitch Garver? I mean, do you talk to him? You don't sit him? You can't really sit him.
Can't, right? Well, they can as much as they can. Just have Cal play every day, as we've talked about. That guy,
it's going to be finished at the end of the year.
I know. I think that. I think he's just now going to be the backup catcher. That role that Sebi had, like any backup catcher kind of has. You catch once, maybe twice a week, but probably in his case, we've got some off days. I would imagine he catches once a week. I can't imagine him DHing much going forward, unless
so many DHs now, right?
And you're going to get Julio back fairly soon, hopefully. So then that bumps, someone obviously out of the outfield. Maybe they can take the DH role, but you've got enough where you don't need to put them out there. And unless, you think like a Polanco, like he can find it, like a veteran can figure things out and contribute something. I mean, he's right. He's not going to hit 200 this year. This is the worst season of his career. But going forward, can he give you anything? I like veterans more than young guys to help out down the stretch. He did hit third last year in winning the World Series for Texas. So, I mean, obviously he's got ability. So I wouldn't say that he's going to be a zero for the rest of the season, but I do think his role is going to be pretty much the backup catcher.
What do you think has led to his struggle so much? You think it's just the contract, the pressure, the expectations of coming over from the Rangers? He was their big off-season acquisition. Is all of that? Do you just think he put too much pressure on himself heading into this year?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
It was a good one. And remember, the most expensive free agent bat Jerry's ever signed, which is, think about that, $24 million.
Do you think he knew that? Do you think? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I would think so. I think we probably mentioned it to him, but no, I think he was in a good spot coming over here. I mean, a veteran guy coming off a World Series, getting a 2-year deal, getting the most money of his career. I think he's feeling good. I don't know if there was a pressure situation. It wasn't like he was brought in here and they said, "Hey, you're the piece to put us over the top, World Series or bust." It was still
with money comes expectation to deliver, and he had never had that expectation placed on him.
That's true too, as far as like money. You're right, and being a guy that was looking to really upgrade the team here. It's weird. You can't just say it's the park, because he played here. Actually. What was he when they signed him, like 0 for 20 something?
Yeah,
here at T-Mobile. So maybe
he was terrible. He was terrible. Well, but just with money comes it's like you make so much money at Root. There comes an expectation that you've got to deliver every night. And unfortunately for the listeners and the viewers, you fall short sometimes.
Yeah. Well short. And it's noted and people mention it on my chats. Yeah.
On your chats,
on my chats, what they
on
do.
The 2-hour chats.
Yeah. So that's a weird one with Mitch. Maybe end of the year he can maybe shed some light on that. But he's a guy who, he's there. He's grinding every day. He's there early. He's taking early BP. It's just sometimes they don't click, right? I mean, and sometimes too, when guys are older. Look, like Ty France. Like all of a sudden, you just. Like it's not happening, right? It's just not working. There might not be a reason for it, like a specific reason, or you could say this or that, or sometimes guys, I don't know, just go through a year where it just nothing works, and we're kind of seeing that. And hopefully he can bounce back a little bit and contribute something the rest of this year, and then come in next year and maybe figure things out or turn things around. But I would say, like I said. Mitch, backup catcher going forward.
Maybe he'll, maybe a little less playing time and being the backup catcher. I mean, it's a lot of money to, spending on a backup catcher. It's when your backup catcher is making more money than your starting catcher.
Like
team leader, like
12 more times.
12 more times more than that guy. It's, it's probably
Cal.
Being duly noted by Scott Boras and Cal Raleigh.
Yes.
But I just.
Yes.
I think the person more than anything is I'm concerned about the person. I've said this, repetitive. I've been repetitive with this, but I was concerned more with the person. I just that you don't like to hear people talk like that. And
I agree with you. And somebody, we were talking the other day at the game about this, and it's like, if you're a professional athlete these days, why in the world are you on social media?
Well, I mean,
and maybe somebody's telling them stuff, but I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to be on it, because you got these idiots out there who say idiotic things.
I mean, you probably, I would assume in your role, because you're so visible, such a massive figure in this community, but you probably, you get some stuff that, but what people say to you, and especially when you're on TV, oh, why'd you wear that? Oh, you look like crap today, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's, and it affects everybody. So, I mean, I'm sure you can appreciate to a smaller degree of what Garver's going through. I think anybody that's in the public eye. Right.
I mean, you're a target, and certainly when you're not performing and you're making $12 million, you're a target.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. But
you're not making $12 million?
I'm not making $12 million.
Close.
Hey, is that kind of breaking news out there? I didn't know.
That'd be awesome if you were, though. Can you imagine?
Oh, my gosh. You think I would be on this podcast if I was making $12 million?
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm joking. God, if I was making $12 million, God, that would be.
If money were no
think
option,
about that. Yeah, where would I live?
Can I ask another question in the Brad Adam Q&A?
What country club would I belong to? You
How
and I
much
be playing
golf
every
would
day.
you be playing?
Every day, buddy.
Yeah,
I'd have you out as much as I could.
Morning, afternoon. Right, I double dip every day.
I have to.
Yeah,
right?
I probably would only play like 9. I'd play like 9 in the morning and 9 in the afternoon.
Before, maybe 9 before a game.
Yeah, I just nothing.
Hey, I tell you, years ago, I was still in my 40s, so we're talking years ago, and Ichiro was still playing for the Mariners, and we were playing some golf and talking, and I said, "Hey, I bet if I quit work today and played every day, practiced, by the time I was 50, I can make the Champions Tour."
That's what you said.
That's what I said.
Oh, wow.
And I said, Ichiro, here's what we need to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to quit. You're going to bankroll me. Join a country club. You're going to pay for all my expenses, pay for everything. And when I'm 50, I join the tour. I start cashing checks. I pay you back.
Yeah. And what'd he say?
He just went, no.
How was it?
No.
How is he as a golfer?
Each is, he really got into it a few years because he's got, Mizuno sponsors him. He's got these great Mizuno clubs. He went back to Japan and lessons and got into it in off season. And he came back and he was hitting the ball pretty well. He hits righty. He hits the ball pretty well. But like a lot of guys who don't play much, 100 yards and in, it's
problem.
It's flip. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Chipping, putting, it's a problem.
Does the interpreter come with him? When you guys talk and hang out?
Yes, he does. Yeah. Alan does. Yeah. It's a package deal, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So he could, I think the best, he was breaking 90,
Fun.
And low 80. And if I'm keeping score and I'm being pretty generous, I could get him around, 85.
Do you really think if you would have practiced every day, you would have made it?
No.
Come on.
Those guys are so good. No chance. No chance.
There's no way in hell.
I think we talked about it. We did, yeah. I was out at the Ridge, for Valley and Kruger's tournament and playing the forward tees. And I'm thinking to myself, again, these guys play all the way back and get home in 2 on 18. They get home in 2 on 15. It's like, you got to be kidding.
No way.
No chance. We're talking to Eric Hansen about that too. You know how good he is.
Right.
And they're like, why don't you just turn pro and be on the tour? He's like, nowhere near as good as those guys.
Crazy.
It's yes.
And he's phenomenal.
Crazy. And he's a plus. He's like a +2 at Sahali. So, I mean, come on. He can't even come close to being on the Champions Tour. So it's just crazy good how golf.
This is what I would
good they are.
do if I had, money was no option. So golf every day.
Right. We're making $12 million a year.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Probably getting a foot massage every day.
Okay.
Just because I like a good.
Just because, and you can.
Yeah. I would have my own foot masseuse.
Oh, like on standby.
Yeah. Oh, God. There's little things. I'm a simple. foot massage and golf.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Where would you live?
Oh, that's.
I know you got to think about that.
No, it's pretty easy.
On the water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would live probably in Oceanside, California.
Oh.
Right on the water.
Oh, okay. So we're leaving the state. Okay.
Yeah. Oceanside.
Go to San Diego.
Somewhere in
area.
San Diego.
Oh.
Oceanside.
Yeah, because we could afford it. You're right. That would be the spot.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's where I would like to be.
Yeah.
Walk down to the beach with the dogs.
Yeah.
Some fish tacos.
Get your massage.
Get my
fish
foot
tacos.
massage. Play golf.
Go play Torrey Pines.
Jesus.
Go to your club. Yeah. Oh.
Why can't we just win the lottery?
I know. Now I'm going to be depressed when I go back to real life. When I go back to like doing chores and laundry after the podcast.
God, I have to do laundry today as
well. It never
well.
ends with the kids, man. It never ends.
It never ends.
And then I don't want to get too personal, but like all the bras and underwear.
You feel uncomfortable folding them.
I do, and I don't know whose is whose, and I don't want to know.
I know.
I put them all in a pile now, and I say, "You do your bra."
Me too.
I don't know. And
I'm with you.
Now they've got the underwear, and they've got this, and they got this little. I know
exactly what you're doing.
You figure it out. I do not want to know
exactly what you're talking about.
And you hold up, you're like, "Who's wearing this little thing?
Is this yours?
Like,
Does that look like it would be mine?"
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
I get mad. You put them in her room, not my room. I'm like, well, you know what? Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. No, I love it.
Do your own laundry.
Yeah. That's really the message.
That's what it comes down to.
It should be to do your own laundry. God. What about? I asked Jim Duquette. I don't know if you've seen this on your Q&As, but there's been this groundswell of Mariner fans that would love to see maybe an extension for Victor Robles even after 36 games. I love it.
Slow down, fans.
That's what I.
No need.
So I asked Duquette what it would. What do you think it would be? And he said, "I'd probably throw a 1 year, $5.5 million at him.
Okay.
Some incentives and maybe a club, maybe an option.
Okay. Yeah, I would not go beyond that.
No,
years.
I'd sign up for that. If it doesn't work out, it's $5.5 million.
Right.
Like, whatever.
I agree. A guy who clearly wants to be here and has changed the game around, his game around.
He's been fun.
He's been fun, but it's been a month.
I know.
So
I know.
Do you have to sign him? No. But would it, show good faith and show that he's valued and he would appreciate that? Sure. But I like that. Like a 1 year? Sure. But now you're bringing him in to, start? If everybody's healthy, what does your outfield look like?
I think if everyone's healthy, I think Julio's in center and Randy's in left and he's in right.
Okay. And Mitch kind of DHs and plays some right?
Yeah, I would probably.
Right. Rayleigh plays sometimes.
Yes.
Or first?
I'm getting more of a. I know he already plays first, but I'm really putting him in the Perry Hill first base camp in the offseason.
Okay.
He's going to play, and I would do the same because you're married to Haniger. I would do the same. We've mentioned this a million times. I would do the same thing with Haniger. I'd give him a mitt. Like, we're going to play first. You're going to learn to play first.
First base?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah, because you just give him some more options. Give yourself some more options if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. Garver, I know, has been doing that a little bit. But because you're married to both Mitches, unless they eat the money, which I don't see them eating the money.
Right. I know Hannah's got, I believe it's a player option, but yeah.
No, he's going to exercise that player option.
Yeah, sitting down with your wife going, should I play next year for $14 million or should I not?
Isn't it, am I mistaken? Isn't it 17?
Oh, geez.
I think it's 17 million.
Well, his contract, I don't know. It averaged 14 plus a year.
Let me look it up.
I don't know how they break it down when he signed a 3-year deal with San Fran, or 2 and an option. So it's 3 for like 42.
Well, and when he was
I don't know.
here last time and he was playing like on for nothing.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like, sure.
Nobody would not take the option, obviously.
So his payroll, he's making 16 this year. If I'm reading this right,
is that
17.5 right? Is the player option.
Okay, so they paid him less last year. So 17.5. Well, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah.
Can you imagine if they come up?
Hey, Mitch.
Mitch. You've had a great run, and we know you've got a player option, but we're
pay you $2 million.
We're really cash strapped. What do you? How about you? Hey, Mitch. How about you decline it? So he's not going to decline. So they're locked. And then Garver's like 12.5.
Yep. Randy will be, he's arbitration. So he's going to be, I think somebody was projecting,
12?
what is it, like 10, 11, 12? Yeah. Yep. And Julio goes up. See, another guy, Julio, he should be minimum. They should be paying him the minimum salary.
Oh, you're like Kruger.
Last year and this year. They could.
You're like Kruger. Kruger's obviously bad.
You got to lock up him. I understand that one. But you could have saved a lot of money.
So Robles, anyway. If that were the framework of the deal, thumbs up? Or no? We want to wait still?
I would wait till the end of the season. I would. Because everybody in the big leagues have had a good month. Yeah, everybody who's ever played. So, I mean, it's great, and I hope it continues, but let's just see what the rest of the season looks like.
And he's motivated, right?
Big time.
What do you do?
Big time.
What do you do when they all come back healthy? I mean, we know where does Julio slot in? You slot him in second, you slot him in third. What about the JP Crawford situation? You put him back at leadoff, or do you keep Robles hitting leadoff?
I think when JP comes back, he'll go back to the leadoff spot, I think, to start with, and see how he does. I mean, you're right. Robles has been better leading off, but I don't know, maybe that's a JP thing. And Robles,
is that just because of his stature in the clubhouse, leadership, and
yes, and if he doesn't produce, I mean, I think that they can move him to 9. You got some options now, right, with Robles and now Polanco hitting, and Randy can hit anywhere 2 to 5. Julio can do the same thing. I mean, I would probably put Julio third, I'm guessing, in the lineup. Maybe Cal 4, so maybe you do like a Polanco second, Randy second. You got options. It's nice. It's nice to be able to have guys that are, producing, multiple guys that are hitting and doing well. And then you got Justin Turner, right? I mean, he's probably a great 5-6 hitter.
He's just a great person to have on your
quality at bat. Exactly.
He's really good. Well, I think Haniger's talked about it. I mean, I think if I'm Julio, and I mean, I know they don't profile as the same hitters and all that, but if I'm Julio, I'm sitting next to him every opportunity I can, and just soak it in. What are you seeing? What do you see with me? Like when a guy pitches me this way, what do I do? Turner's first hit, and this is not a criticism or knock on Julio. I don't think I've seen Julio have a hit like that. I know he probably has, but that away pitch,
go out to right field,
and he sticks it out almost where he's falling over. A little punch and Judy out there, a little floater, and I mean it's stuff like that. His 2-strike approach, his approach at the plate, you hear it all the time. It's just professional. He's got a plan. He's got an idea.
And he's done it all, right? And he said he's been through it all. He's been traded multiple times, been DFA'd, been non-tendered. A guy who kind of refound his swing in LA. He was kind of one of the first ones to do the launch angle type swing change in an off season. And it really paid off. He's had a really nice career.
Great career.
The oldest position player in the majors. Oldest infielder ever for the Mariners. Approaching 40 years old. So he already helped Mitch, with his posture and kind of his approach. But it's a great idea. Just sitting and soaking in with him and guys like that who've been through, postseasons are so valuable down the stretch for guys who haven't. It's totally different. You talk to players about regular season and postseason, and it is just night and day different.
For sure.
A fountain of knowledge for sure, and just a really good guy that wants to give back.
Right.
Just talk to him about it. That was a really good pickup. They did the best of anybody, I think, certainly in the West. Houston loses again last night, and they bullpen blows it again in the 10th to Texas. It's like, man, they don't add. Verlander is getting closer. Tucker's getting closer.
Right.
But they don't know when those guys are getting back. It's just crazy. They think DeGrom for Texas is coming in August. See if they can catch fire. They didn't do anything, really at the deadline. So I mean, the Mariners helped themselves, I think, more than any
wasn't
team.
A bevy of huge moves, at the deadline, especially with position players that, whatever the asking price was too much. I mean, obviously Guerrero was going to be the biggest fish. Luis, we like to call him Robert. He was out there, but whatever happened, maybe the asking price was too much. Maybe teams saw him dog it, especially in that Mariners series, and said, buyer beware.
Yeah.
We don't need that. But yeah, they did in terms of a offensive addition was probably the biggest piece for sure. But all right, what do you got planned for the rest of the day here? They got the Tigers series. We get the Kirby and Scooble on Wednesday, which is going to be awesome.
Wednesday or Thursday? Did they announce?
Shoot, did I?
It's Wednesday?
I thought it was Wednesday.
I don't know.
I'm seeing Wednesday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and you want to look ahead? You want a real look-see ahead 10 days from now?
Please.
When they're in Pittsburgh Friday night.
Oh, don't tell me.
Logan Gilbert against Paulie Skeens.
Yes. Will Liv be there?
God, I hope so.
Liv Dunn be there.
If she is, the vampire and I are going to fly out just to see her.
They'll come here next year.
I want to go to that ballpark. I want to see that park.
You know what? It is. Let's see. I like Petco a lot, and Fenway's still my favorite.
You've been to PNC?
PNC is fantastic.
It looks great.
It is because the first year I went to Pittsburgh, I'm like, Steel Town, Pittsburgh, what's nice? Town was nice, and you walk over the bridges that they close. It's all foot traffic over those bridges and over the river, and there's just stuff around there to do, and it's right on the water, and it's just beautiful inside. It's fantastic. Yeah. So, if you're going to do a trip somewhere to go see Liv Dunn, that would be the one. I heard she's going back to LSU. She got another year.
Yeah. Yes. She makes more money. She's
making more than Paul.
Yeah.
Way more.
Of course.
Way more. God, that's awesome. College is just ruined, but that's fine. It's ruined, but good for them.
Good for everyone that's ruined the sport. F you people.
Just terrible. I know. God.
All right. Well,
I think I'm going to go to the short 9 today over at Willows.
Oh.
And take the wife. She said that she would go.
Okay.
I said, sure.
Are we not working tonight? We're not on the desk?
I'll get there eventually. Actually, you know what? I think I am off today. I think I'm off today.
Maybe you should know.
Yeah, I should. I got to check that. I'm working tomorrow, so I got Scooble, which is good. Yeah, but it's been years since the wife has played.
Have fun.
And she's like every golfer. She expects every shot to be good.
Well, I love a demanding golfer. Just tell it's not going to happen.
And it's my fault when it's bad. She turns.
You told me to grab the 7-iron.
What'd you say? Yeah, you said 7-iron, and I'm like, oh jeez. But it'll be fun, though. Right. I'm looking forward to it.
Fun. Be honest with you. All right, Brad Adam, Root Sports, brought to you by John Howie Steak every Tuesday. Episodes release at 1:00. You're the best. Have fun playing golf and folding bras and panties.
Just keep them separate. Thank you, guys.
There he is, Brad Adam again. Release episodes every Tuesday at 1:00. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts, and of course, right here, always at pucksports.com.